NSE closing bell, markets are still looking pretty good. The Midcap index is still down about 0.5%, but the Bank Nifty is really the star in trade. Let's find out whether there are any more stocks that you can look at to trade right now by the time the day comes to an end. Sandeep Barclay joins in now. Sandeep, what would be the stocks on your radar?
Afternoon, Sonia. I would go with a buy in a BEML, stop loss of 954, target 993, and a buy in a Yes Bank, stop loss 240, target 258.
Okay, Sandeep, thanks a lot for those trades. Prakash, a word on UPL. What's happening? 900 now. 1 year back it was the weakest stock, making fresh 52-week lows. Yeah. And now fresh 52-week highs almost on a daily basis.
I know. So 2017, end of 2017 is when I think we picked this up as one of our picks. And this is the only pick that actually worked out of that lot, to be honest. 4 of them we picked, and UPL was one of them as the Diwali pick or the New Year pick or something. The reason is the Arista transaction, which is one of the biggest that has happened in this kind of a business, has actually paid off so significantly. The kind of leveraging that they've been able to do on assets, on properties, like on the IPR regime that they ended up buying through this acquisition, has been much more cost effective than most of us thought in the beginning. And I remember when it got into the Nifty, it was almost like questionable, saying why is it getting included there. But I think it's justified more than its presence. And I think it still has takers, Anuj. And the way we are looking at that agri basket, the key beneficiaries of some of the higher spends, whether it's from the NBFC side, whether it's from the input side, whether it's from farm equipment side, it's a secular trend that will work fairly well for at least the next 12 to 18 months. So people should stay put and don't get very hassled with the kind of move that you see. Maybe 40% from that point in time.
Wait, the Bank Nifty making fresh intraday high, and this time it's because of SBI. Just pull out that stock intraday. SBI hitting high of the day. That's Bank Nifty back to 28,900, and that's SBI for you. So Sonia, again, hardly 40-50 point dip on the Bank Nifty. And that's getting bought once again. Is
there any fundamental reason you think or is it just related to the options and the kind of money people are making in the F&O market? I don't know. I'm just scratching my head. I
keep going back to this movie, right? The Dirty Picture and the dialogue that Vidya Balan has. Pictures run for 3 reasons, right? Entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. Markets in the near term rally on money, money, and money. Right now, the money is chasing stocks. Yeah. It's chasing stocks literally. What changed in 3 weeks? So many stocks. It's just that there was a bit of a buyer freeze. Here it's a bit of a seller freeze. You just want to buy, and that's
and you
what's
don't want
propelling.
to miss out, I guess.
Exactly. The fear of missing out.
Move, yeah.
Yes, but I think if you see the greed and fear meter, we had reached peak greed, peak fear. I don't think we've reached peak greed yet. No. There's still time to go. And just like the capitulation phase leaves you with the maximum price damage, but the best opportunities to buy, I think this is the phase, the melt-up phase, which leads to the big price surges. Yeah. Of course, in some stocks, you make multi-year tops, but right now, I think the market's not listening, just too much money chasing.
Prakash, you want to comment on that? I mean, do you have any explanation for why the banks are rallying so much lately?
No, I'll tell you, there is a trend that's very clearly emerging where Axis and ICICI started that whole move towards corporate banking being the next big story. And this, remember, was coincided in September, October with the meltdown in the NBFC space. So there's a huge market share gain. Now, HDFC Bank somehow got ignored because it was never undervalued at that point in time. And yes, had its own share of issues. Look at how the likes of RBL and all have made a comeback. So banking as a whole suddenly got much more dearer and fancied because of the kind of opportunities. But I was listening to your conversation in the beginning on that, whether the party is at 11 o'clock or are we closer to 12. What seems like happening is in the mid-cap, that feeling of missed out will lead to a much more broad basing of this rally. But you'll have a very active churn in sectors and stocks. The moment something is 40% up, people are not going to sit through this time. But they'll keep on looking for getting into newer names. So there's more money to be made, I think, in the largest mid-caps, in the quality mid-caps, even right now. And people shouldn't get worried about this feeling of being missed out just because they see something on screen. And a case in point is we've got NCC flashing on the ticker. Very clearly, till about 2 weeks back, this was seemed to be an area that nobody wanted to look at. And today, you know, and I would be surprised some brokerages come up with reports saying, I mean, you know, targets which are 125, 130, given the kind of upbeat mood that is there for this segment. So buy into stocks which are not in the news is where you'll make money.
Okay, look at Bajaj Finance, by the way. That stock just made a fresh intraday high. I think it will be interesting to see where it is now compared to its previous highs, because that's, of course, one NBFC stock. This, along with Muthoot Finance, were the two where there's absolutely no impact. Okay, Bajaj Finance still corrected, Muthoot never corrected. But the previous all-time high for Bajaj Finance was 29.94. And we have the stock now at 28.15. So, matter of a day, perhaps, from all-time high. Mr. Hussain, your thoughts on Bajaj Finance? Big move once again.
Anuj, in fact, all the NBFCs are seen now renewed buying. You know, in fact, if you see the kind of upset which we have seen in two stocks which we may not have noticed, but Cholamandalam and Shriram Transport, I think, have risen by about 30% to 40% in this last maybe couple of weeks. And similar has been case with many other NBFCs, maybe like Edelweiss Finance or maybe M&M Finance. In fact, all of them have risen. And surprisingly, Bajaj Finance had not seen having participated in this rally in this last 8 to 10 days. So probably this is seen to be more catching up, though we have been keeping our positive bias on the other NBFCs, you know, because Bajaj Finance is seen to be quite expensive. And if you see the growth coming in other finance and NBFCs, it is better to look to those companies, maybe like M&M Finance or L&T Finance. In fact, we feel that the more upside is seen there. Obviously, Bajaj Finance remains the top pick, but it is again, you know, with an expensive tag as well.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, thanks for joining us and taking us through the last hour of trade. Next up, we have Ravi Sundar Muthukrishnan of Elara Capital, who joins us on the show. They have released a note talking about the broader market and the kind of, you know, tensions that have reduced on the border, the reduced GDP growth outlook and widening fiscal deficit, basically a whole host of macro factors and how it's going to impact the market. Ravi, thanks so much for joining us. Just take us through what your base case scenario is. Do you see the markets move up much from here? And is it better to put money into the mid caps, or do you think large caps will now make you most of the money now in the market?
So, the first question about whether the markets will move up. My sense is it will be slightly volatile till the elections, and post the elections, depending on the outcome, if BJP were to come back to power, which is what the grassroots level thinking is. I've been to many parts of India and even to the Kumbh Mela, where you almost have about 20 crore people congregating there. The general perception is that BJP may come back to power. If that were to happen, my sense the market will at least go up by another 10%. So 12,000 is what our Nifty target is for the end of the year. Now between
1,000, but is there a good afternoon, Ravi? Is there a possibility of complete melt up? 12,000 and 13,000. That's what, you know, I'm saying as well.
Beyond 12,000, anything is possible.
Yeah.
But between large caps and mid caps, to the question Sonia asked me, my preference would be for the mid caps, for the simple reason that, you know, they've been beaten down quite badly. Simple statistics here: the 7-day moving average has been the lowest since 2014. The mid cap, large cap discount is almost about minus 22%, as against an average of 4.5%. With the crude stabilizing at the current levels, consumption going up, and pick up in the capex maybe after the elections, I think mid cap could be a good bet to invest in.
Okay, what kind of mid caps? It's a large universe.
Yeah, so when we talk about mid caps, let's say largely autos should start to do well, especially the auto ag space. All of them took a dramatic beating now. I think of the many sectors, autos was one which took the maximum beating. Others being media, metals, NBFCs, and even consumer staples. So with the crude prices sort of stabilizing and consumption coming back thanks to all the incentives you're given in the budget, I think the best place could be some in the auto space, some in the consumer discretionary space.
So which are the stocks that you like in the auto space?
Auto space, we like MRF. As a tire company, and we like some in the battery space, which is Exide. And obviously, we have been among the large caps in that space. We've been bullish on Hero MotoCorp for a long time now. Obviously, Maruti as well.
Okay, Maruti and Hero MotoCorp. That's interesting. What about the cement space? That's also making a huge comeback, led by Ultratech, of course. But India Cements is up, what, some 25-30% from its lows. There are others like JK Lakshmi Cement also doing well. Ambuja has rallied a lot from that result day low. Anything that stands out here for you?
Yeah, in the cement space, we've always been looking in terms of where the capacity additions are, where the demand-supply mismatches are there. I think the highest mismatch we're going to see is in the central and the North India. So where capacities have almost reached about 90% plus. So we like some of the companies in central India and North India, not so much in South India. Because in South, we think the supply is still much more than the demand is. I think the capacity utilization is hardly about 70% there. So Heidelberg Cement is one we've liked for a long time, and we continue to like that company.
Since banks are the big topic right now, what are your top banking stocks? Not just from the frontliners, but any in the broader markets that you like?
Yeah, if you look at the banking per se, NBFCs for now, in the financial space, we would not want to touch because I still think there's a concern about margin expansion and growth. But there are few pockets in the NBFC space we like. One is Cholamandalam, for example, because of the diversified portfolio they have. The asset quality is very good. And then we like HDFC because it's one of the leaders in that space. But other than that, we are trying to shun away from the NBFC space. But in the banking space, we like most of the banks which are retail focused, have a good CASA, for example. So we continue to like Axis, HDFC Bank, and ICICI Bank. And among the small players, we like CUB, City Union Bank. Okay,
by the way, interesting trades happening in the market. Just look at BEL. That one's surging now. There's this whole OFS thing. There's this bit of an overhang. Every day you see towards the end, there's a bit of a selling. Today it started lower, but it's moving up. Bit of a dangerous game here if you're buying it here, because you never know when the OFS would come, if at all. But anyway, that one's right now at the high point of the day. If we haven't discussed these stocks with you, Ravi, thoughts on names like say Bajaj Finance, Muthoot Finance, Manappuram. Anything that stands out here? They've been making new highs.
Not the Muthupurams and Manappurams for now.
Okay.
But maybe we will start to get
Shriram Transport.
The only thing is I'm hesitant to talk about Bajaj Finance because we don't cover that stock.
Okay.
So, but the other two, we're not there as of now.
Okay. What about the consumption basket? I mean, we've discussed cement, we've discussed autos, but what about some of these names like, a Titan? I mean, they continue to hit new highs, but the commentary from the management has been really good. Is there a stock that's worth putting fresh money into?
See, there are some regulations which have come through in recent times where there's going to be a lot of shift from the unorganized to the organized play. But to give you a general sense of Titan, I think that company being in the organized space should do well. And I think that's a company worth investing in. Though, of course, as I said before, there are some stocks we don't cover. So I don't have a very detailed explanation as to why Titan should do well. But this unorganized to organized play should be a good bet for the jewelry space. But we like somebody like Crompton Consumer, because there's a lot of money thanks to the budget again. There's some money which is coming in terms of rebates. There's some money coming in terms of standard deduction. So this money, if not in the urban, should be well spent in the rural, we guess. So Crompton Consumer should be a good name. And among the FMCG space, we like Nestle because they've been doing well on all fronts. They've had a lot of advantage as regards cost savings. Virtually all the categories are doing pretty well now. So Nestle is a good stock we like in the staples place.
Okay, that move on SBI is leading to the others also joining in. Look at Canara Bank's intraday chart. It has added 4 rupees in a matter of some 10 minutes or thereabout. That's Canara Bank's chart, looking quite interesting. The other one which has made decent move is Bharti Airtel. Thoughts here, because it's in the past also has had these moves, but they have been great selling opportunities. Is this different?
We have had a buy on this stock for quite a long time now, because one again is the growth coming from data and the ARPUs have been increasing. most important, the spectrum cost for most of these players in the future is going to come down. So there's going to be a lot of cost benefits which will come in the future. So Bharati for us is a buy stock for quite a long time now.
Okay, well, we will leave it at that. Thank you for speaking about a lot of stocks and, you know, the sectors that you prefer as well. That's the word coming in on the mid-cap space and how you should approach this market in the longer term. We'll take